You've probably clicked on this video because your exams are right around the corner and you need to save your grades.
Trust us when we say it is not too late. Keep watching to find out all of our last minute exam secrets.
Hi guys, my name is Hazal.
And my name is Liddy.
And we are two UK-based medical students. We use this channel to document our journey to becoming doctors and share student tips along the way.
In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys actionable advice that you can implement right now in order to save your grades.
So let's jump straight into it.
Tip 1 is to refine and target. Know exactly what you need to revise for your upcoming exam.
You can't revise to the best of your ability within limited time constraints if you are unaware of what your upcoming exams are and exactly what they consist of.
You need to be selective about the exact information that you're consuming. So to revise the correct material and cover exactly what you have to know, we need to work backwards. So for this, I highly suggest making a digital list or notes page or even using Notion.
Type out all of your exams and then their dates. Then beneath each exam, add detail. Details include which subjects or topics that exam will be covering.
It may also include the specific skills that examiners are looking for from you in that exam. And it's important to note that a lot of the time, universities and exam boards tend to be quite explicit about these things. I think as students, we think that examiners are trying to trip us up, but I feel like by doing a bit of research, you can come across exam boards or even universities saying, this is what we want from you in this exam, this is the skill we'll be testing. They actually give it to us, they hand it to us on a plate. So we need to take this information and stop making life so difficult for ourselves.
Another detail you want to make sure you include is the timings for the exam, or even the different question types you have in that exam. All this information that you have just collected will help you in the next step of strategic prioritization, which I'll get onto in the next chapter.
And if you're wondering where to start in terms of collecting this information, you can always use your school timetable, your university website, your curriculum, exam board. The information is there. You just need to have the initiative to search for it. Since this is all digital, it shouldn't take too long, especially if you're copying and pasting from online resources. Moving on to strategic prioritization. This digital list that you just created will help you in creating a revision strategy that identifies exactly what is required to help you ace those exams. We can then execute on this strategy with the time that you have left.
Realistically, you won't always have time to go through every single subject and subtopic that you'd like to in time for your exam. But don't worry guys, it's not the end of the world. You can definitely work around this if you prioritize strategically by looking into all the different exam papers you have. Flick through a few past papers and mocks and hyper-analyze the mark schemes and find out where are the bulk of the marks coming from.
Are there topics that come up every year in those particular exams that are likely to come up again this year? If you're a university student, are there continuous themes that your lecturers keep repeating that is most likely to come up in your exam? In exam season, every student has limited hours, so we all need to be super intentional about where these hours are going rather than putting them into whatever is in front of us. The harsh truth is that you're probably not going to have time to cover everything in detail. You are going to have to pick and choose.
If you do this strategically, you are working smart rather than working yourself to the ground. As a straight A student, I can say with confidence that in some of my GCSE papers and also some of my A-level exams, there were some topics that I didn't really revise or I didn't look at too much. And this is because I was so confident in the method of strategically prioritizing and putting my eggs in the correct baskets. This doesn't have to be a bargain, but more of an intelligent guess based on existing or old patterns, exam boards, past papers, etc.
Exactly, like you have a time constraint, so you need to be smart about the order in which you revise topics in. So using the digital list, we need to direct exactly what to revise and how. The how is underpinned by knowing exactly what skills examiners are expecting you to exhibit in your exam papers, whereas the what is defined by the subjects or the subtopics that you previously listed. Move topics that you know less or you find more difficult to the top of your to-do list, you know, the ones that you will prioritize the most, and then if you have time when you have time, you can then look at the less important topics or the topics that are least likely to come up. This means that you avoid spending hours and hours on learning small mini details that perhaps won't be that significant in your exam papers, and you can direct your focus towards information that will be the most impactful in saving your grade. Don't underestimate this method, because we can say from experience that it does work.
In saying this, cater your revision to the exam format. The more that you know about exactly what will come up on that exam day, the more prepared you are and the less that can catch you by surprise. This requires a combination of both knowledge and time-independent repetition. And guys, one of the most effective revision methods to achieve this combo is blurting and practice questions.
This is what I believe to be one of the best A-star methods to essentially save your grade in a last-minute fashion. More traditional methods like flashcards, for example, tend to require more time and more of a commitment in order to allow for spaced repetition. And this is time we simply do not have. But these two things, if done intensely and strategically, then irrespective of how many weeks you may have left until the exam day, it can help you with your grade.
Make sure you do enough practice questions and past papers in timed conditions to prepare sufficiently for your exams. They are so valuable to you because they are the closest replica to what you will get in the real exam.
You can find exam papers or practice questions practically anywhere. Use your initiative, ask your peers, see if your school or university has any resources, look on Google, look on YouTube.
Most of the time you'll find that there are a plethora of resources and websites out there with practice material. Do as many practice papers as you physically can to put yourself in the best position possible to secure and achieve that academic goal. Where possible, your exam papers should be joined with blurting to really secure the knowledge you need. As you mark your exam papers, you'll be consuming and learning knowledge. But on top of that, you'll also be shown directly where the gaps in your knowledge are and what topics you need to work more on. If these are topics that are high on our priority lists, blurting is a great way to help this topic stick.
So how exactly do we blurt? In order to make a blurt mind map, all you need is to put all of your notes away and simply grab a piece of paper and jot down everything that you remember about that topic. I'd usually do this with a 10-minute timer on and with a black pen. Once time's up, I open my revision guide or my notes and I correct everything I have written with a green pen. I fill in any gaps in my knowledge, I correct anything I may have gotten wrong, and this actually ends up being a visual representation of your understanding for that particular topic. And apart from its effectiveness of revealing to you where your weak points are about that specific subject/subtopic, the main reason why this is such a great method for last-minute revision is that it does not take that long to do. It doesn't have to be neat and fancy, and you don't have to spend a ridiculous amount of time making it look organized and colorful. In just under 1 hour, you can study and active recall multiple topics.
Quick note that this method won't necessarily be useful for every single subject. For example, essay writing subjects like English, where you require less recall and more the ability to debate and present your case. So adapt your revision to the type of information you need to learn.
Tip 4 is to facilitate. Use summary sheets, or what is casually referred to as cheat sheets, that you may find online to facilitate your revision. Like, I genuinely feel like this is such an underestimated gem.
Yeah.
For every single subject, from GCSEs to A-levels to where I am now as a medical student, it has been so useful to have the main points condensed onto one page.
Remember guys, you are not the first person to study this subject. There have been thousands of students before you that have made notes on this topic, and if you're lucky enough, they may be online and you may be able to use them.
Acquiring summary sheets and using it alongside your revision is so useful because it can serve as a constant reference point for you as you're doing exam papers or as you're looking at specific practice questions. Summary sheets cut out the unnecessary step of having to flick through your revision guide or having to flick through all of your notes in order to find that specific fact you may need. Whether you're reviewing exam papers you've just done or you're having to do a bit of last-minute consolidation, having these summarized main points is so important because effective learning is all about identifying and understanding the main topic.
Tip 5 is to not waste time but to make time. Firstly, when it comes to not wasting time, the main thing I'm referring to is do not make new notes.
Cut it out.
If exams are right around the corner, it's time to put down your pretty pens, put down your sticky notes, as note-taking time has come to an end. You need to start living and breathing practice papers, not entertaining these passive practices that give you this false perception of efficient work. Note-taking in exam season is a waste of time and counterintuitive to the end goal of getting you exam ready.
Regardless of the academic year, I always aim to give myself up until the end end of April, the end of the Easter holidays, to really finish off my summarized and condensed notes. And this is because I dedicate May and June to practice questions and blurting. This is the time to really iron out any wrinkles that you may have in your knowledge and to really work on your exam technique, rather than relying on more tedious methods to acquire and consolidate new knowledge. And in terms of making time, stop stressing about the what ifs, about the revision you should have done, about the amount of time you wasted. You need to suck it up and keep it stepping. We do not have time to be dwelling in self-pity and in regret. What has happened has happened. It is what it is. Instead of wasting even more time complaining, we need to think, can you squeeze in maybe a few minutes before your lectures begin or before classes start in order to squeeze in some exam revision prep? Do you work best if you start work midday or late at night? How can you adapt your revision schedule and your study routine to this?
Admitting you need help or asking questions does not mean you are dumb and does not reflect your intelligence. I actually think the smartest and wisest thing you can do is ask, because this is the only way you can iron out the wrinkles in your knowledge. And this is one of the biggest things that's made a dramatic difference in my grade.
You know yourself best and where your weaknesses lie regarding different subjects, as well as where you may need additional support. It is only by going out of your way to refine and work on these weak points that you can put yourself in the best position possible to secure and achieve that grade that you are looking for. Take initiative and go to your teachers after school for an hour or two. Email that lecturer that question. Ask your peers. Do not be afraid to appear as though you are the dumbest in the room, because at the end of the day, you learn by asking questions, not by brushing over things you don't know or gaps that you have in your knowledge, because it is the topics that you are ignoring and pushing to the side that will come up on exam day. While we completely understand that in nearly every academic year we found ourselves in a situation where we haven't been able to cover every topic, you know which topics we're talking about. We're talking about the main ones. We're talking about the photosynthesis. We're talking about the pharmacology in medicine. The main topic, huge subtopics that you find really difficult. You cannot just ignore 10 pages of it because it's hard and you hope it won't come up. Try your best to look through everything, especially if it's a topic that tends to come up, especially if it's a topic you find difficult. You won't always be able to memorize every detail, but our main point here is where you know there are gaps in your knowledge that could be filled with a bit more initiative and a bit more proactiveness, take that extra step to fill the gap, essentially. I wholeheartedly believe that without initiative and being proactive in this way, I would not have been able to gain control of my studies and steer my academics towards a direction that I wanted it to go in.
We'll be releasing more revision and exam videos over the next few weeks, so make sure to click on the notification bell so that you don't miss out. If you would like to learn 5 quick ways to active recall, make sure to click on the video on screen.
We'll be sure to see you guys for a new video next time. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.